has a newly redesigned 4-cylinder engine. So now it has 252 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque.
But just go ahead and ease on out. Just try to make your way out, and then once these guys, they're probably going to get on 85, we'll get lunched back up.
Also has an 8-speed transmission. Uses the new Ultra Quattro technology.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
So pretty much it's to help save gas.
Yeah.
So during regular driving, the car is front biased. And anytime it needs to send more power, then it can be all-wheel drive or send more power to the back up to 85%.
Yeah, one of my favorite features in this car is that it feels roomier, yet it doesn't feel big on the road. Because the dashboard was definitely moved forward. As you all know, I'm a long-time Q5 driver, so this car definitely feels bigger, yet doesn't give me a feeling that I had to go with a bigger car on the road. The dimensions are pretty good. Handling too, it handles very well, very responsive. I'm in dynamic currently. So the steering wheel is stiff enough, but not too stiff. I really want to compare it to a BMW when we get there to see how that steering wheel is going to
do. We got probably a little separated by that light. We're stopped at the next one. So once we get to the light, we kind of get out of
the steering wheel is because of the progressive steering. So at low speeds it gets very light. At high speeds it starts to tense up, so you have more control of the car.
Just the shade. Yeah. Yeah, one of the most favorite features in Miami, especially for people with family, is the panoramic sunroof. Is really wide, gets a lot of attention, I mean, especially for kids. If you have kids riding in the back, pretty good stuff.
Tech. Winnet Tech Technical School. That's the change. Driver only. Stay in the same vehicle.
Alright.
Even driving on gravel, the car is still very smooth.
Yeah.
Maybe we can switch it to off-road mode.
Can we? Yeah.
Drive select.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if we feel any difference. Yeah, this car feels really good. Off-road mode or dynamic mode. It's meant to be driven as a crossover, as a smaller SUV, and whether you're on a off-road or on a paved road, you should have a very good feel for the car with control. You see, like if you accelerate, you don't feel that the wheels are spinning or that the car is suffocating. Nothing.
But even looking at the other cars coming down right now, you can see they're bumping a lot more.
Yeah. I wanna see how that BMW is gonna do it.
Give you a minute or so to get your seat adjusted in the mirrors and all that good stuff, and we'll take off.
I get to hear so much about how people are looking at X3, so let me really see what it is. Not only that, I bet the interior is not going to be nowhere near the road.
And even the car being in dynamic mode, it still didn't feel that stiff. It's still a very smooth ride.
Yeah. We could change it in automatic, but I think for the purpose of this event, we should keep it in dynamic so that we can test out the power. When we get to an X, I'll see if there's anything close to what we have to offer where we can shift in sports mode, which I doubt, but we shall see. I also like the position of the shifter. If I have to shift in the sport mode real quick, it's right here, and all I have to do is just to click down. I think it's pretty comfortable because you can grab it and you can keep shifting while you're driving.
They made everything very more ergonomical, so everything is pretty much your hands reach away. Before, the older stuff would be in the back, so you'd have to take your hand off the shifter to reach. Now all the controls are here in the front, so pretty much just a finger touch away.
Yeah. And another very good safety feature is that because the car has a lot of technology, technology sometimes can be distracting, but not with Audi, because we put everything on the dashboard right here in the cluster. So in between my phone, my navigation, and my computer, my vehicle computer, I can control most of the stuff directly from the steering wheel without taking my eyes off the road. So that means that I do have enhanced safety, and that doesn't come at the cost of performance. I can still drive fast.
And everything's more driver focused, so you can still
We're going to make a right
You have everything you need right there in front of you.
I noticed that when I got my SQ5, that the cup holders, they're hidden. So if you don't need a cup holder, you can actually expand the space, or you can hide your personal stuff, and then you shift this additional compartment. You can put your two cups, and then you can cover with the armrest. So really smart design in here. Audi found additional way to use this space. All right. I'm gonna grab your iPads just in case I have to speed up.
So heading back out on the road again.
Okay, we're going to make a right turn. We're not going to go very far.
Do you want to switch from off-road back to dynamic?
Yeah.
Alright.
Once we get on the road, we'll do that.
And notice how it is done really simple. You don't have to do much. You just have to click the button and you can switch your mode while you're driving. You don't have to be stationary. You don't have to slow down. Just switch your mode real fast, real quick, and you keep going. The interior of the vehicle is really nicely designed. You have this full cover here, full inlays, wood inlays. It's real wood. We shall compare to what NX is gonna show us interior wise. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna have real wood inside, and so is BMW. Also the leather. You have leather seats. You have leather sides. You have leather armrest. It is real leather. Tell me again about the leather, the type of the bull that we use for the leather.
So they use the leather from the bull hide because it's a lot stronger and it holds up a lot better.
Okay.
And as well as the dye in the car, the seats are dyed all the way through.
Okay.
So they don't fade out like most competitors, and they
Right.
last a lot longer.
That's right.
And the fact that the leather seats are standard in all of our cars, we don't use any fake leather or any cloth seats.
That's right. So you get more for the money, even though this is a premium plus. But to get the leather seats, you don't have to upgrade to anything. Just gotta get the very basic Q5, and you'll be just fine. You'll get your quality seats, your quality interior. And depending on that, you can slow down and speed up. You also have digital speedometer that tells you exactly the speed that you're going. And does the Q5 as well as the SQ5 have a way that you can switch it to the sports display where you have your speedometer?
So in the Q5, you don't have the center sport mode. That's in the SQ5 models.
Okay.
But you still can change the view if you want to enlarge it or to minimize it.
Yeah. Yeah, you see how he enlarged it, and it tells him exactly the speed that he's going. And if he wants to, he can minimize that so he can enhance the map and follow the...
And then with the map, you can still zoom in and zoom out with the steering mounted controls.
Yes. And we can also... Is this Google? This is not Google. You're in a regular map.
This is on the regular map.
Yeah,
That's the
you can do
standard
satellite.
view. Now, a good thing about the virtual cockpit is that you can have the navigation on your cockpit, and then you can have the radio or your phone on the middle screen.
Yes. Yeah, that allows you to multitask in the vehicle. And all not at cost of your safety. That's very important because there is manufacturers that give you a lot of technology, but they come very distracting. Like Lexus is one of those. The technology is very distracting. You have to... You don't have intuitively. We're gonna check, but you don't have the intuitive controls on the bottom of your next to your shifter. Audi does it on purpose so that if you have to control your technology, you do it intuitively with your hand without distracting your eyes. And the
Audi, it's more user friendly compared
Definitely.
to the BMW and Lexus.
Definitely.
You shouldn't have to struggle to find exactly what it is that you're looking for. With this, it's pretty much, self-explanatory. It's right there. You don't have to guess through, the menu system. Ethan, very plasticky.
It is plasticky.
Nothing's really very inviting.
Feels weird to drive to.
The sunroof or panoramic sunroof is not that big as the Q5, of what I can see
Yes.
from back here.
I'm speeding up a little bit. This car is lagging. I gotta tell you,
And, the
and it's a
engine noise.
Beamer, you know. Yes, and did you hear the
Yeah,
noise?
and the engine noise is, you know, it's very loud.
Alright, gang, I can see Group 2 rolling out now, so that's good. This red light's got us trapped, so that'll get us all back together.
Is this a basic X3 or
Believe it or not, it is not.
This
it is
not.
not? Okay, so it's not a
I like
basic
X3,
X.
then I
so
can
this
do
X3
X3. Make sure we don't have any red light runners.
As far as options and price, it's pretty comparable to a Premium Plus Q5.
Mm-hmm.
But even with all the options that are in it, I mean, there's no way you can really compare it to the Q5. I mean, even if you look at the blind spot sensors, they're very small.
Oh, it has. This
You
is
know,
the blind spot sensors.
yeah.
Oh my god! Really? I could never tell. Yeah, I don't like the acceleration of the car. It doesn't. I mean, maybe it's because I'm used to be driving Q5s, but I already don't feel confident in the response of this vehicle. Like, I like to be confident when I step on the gas that the car actually is going to respond. That's important when you're driving a lot in city traffic, because being fast is not as critical as being responsive. And definitely, I would expect BMW actually to move faster. I think it should come because of the torque. I believe that this car is going to have a worse torque than Audi
So
Q5.
compared to the Q5, the power rating on this car is 240 horsepower
Okay.
and 258 pound-feet of torque.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. It definitely feels like it for sure.
So it's way less than, well,
Yes.
not way less, but
Well,
less
it's
than the
substantially
Q5.
less, yeah, because those ratings, you could feel it when you drive, and this car, it doesn't feel heavy. It's funny, it feels that it's underpowered comparing to Q5.
And even back on the road that we're driving the Q5, you can feel there's a lot of vibration.
Yeah, this car is
And the
vibrating a
suspension,
lot.
I mean, you can even see the cameras, you know, vibrating a lot more than it did in the Q5.
Yeah. Now, going back to a driver display, Javier, I don't know if you can get this cluster, but that looks to me like a 10-year-old car. When we appraise old traits, that's how the cluster looks. Look how old it is.
Mhm.
I mean, there is nothing really other than miles, current mileage, temperature, time, and tachometer and speedometer and the speed. So that's it. I mean, even the gas. Look, it doesn't give you it doesn't tell you digital gas mileage, like how much you have left to the tank. You have to guess. Okay, I have pretty much full tank, but I could not tell how much I have left, how many miles I got left. So that's no. Definitely.
The information is not right on your eyes, so you have to probably look for it, which is going to, be too distracting while
Correct.
driving.
Correct.
Now you don't have any info like a virtual cockpit in front of you, so you just have like one screen in the middle,
Yeah.
and then you will have to control everything on
Yeah.
that screen.
Definitely a selling point on the Q5. Definitely for my sales guys have to point it out to the consumers who tell you that we're gonna go and look at X3.
Now Mario, do me a favor, check if it has a Audi smartphone interface, CarPlay,
Oh yeah.
Android Auto.
Let's see first how you even figured that. Because
Yes.
This is so not.
And you can show it over here on the comparison. But let's go into the menu, see what we got.
So they do have some sort of interface. I mean, that's a plus. It doesn't look as progressive as ours, but let's give it to them. They do have it.
So there is a music interface for media, and it's your pretty much standard interface: satellite radio, FM, AM, and then your auxiliary cable and your CD and DVD drive. So there isn't a CarPlay system yet, and then even though this car is a fully loaded car, it doesn't have the option for an Apple CarPlay.
Yeah. And the reason why, because they don't have it, period.
Exactly.
Even if you wanted to have it, I mean, too bad. You're out of luck because it's not available. So you cannot really do the same things on your phone as you can with Audi.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of an older system, and you can tell even though this is a new model,
Yeah.
and everything's pretty much spread out. So you have controls here, you have controls over here, So it really isn't user friendly. I mean, anytime you need to change something, you have to look down. Where in the Q5 you really don't have to because everything is placed in one spot for you.
Yeah. When you get behind the steering wheel, you will notice how the steering wheel, it's not as stiff as I expected on the BMW, but I don't feel the same handling control. Also, you could feel how fake the leather is on the steering wheel. It's not as soft and not as nice on your hands. I mean, little details make a big difference when you're talking about thousands of dollars. Audi is notorious for paying attention to details. Interior was always very important for Audi, aside of engineering and technology. For the longest time, we were the best in class when it came to interiors because of attention that we paid to details. So we can't say that about BMW. BMW was always known for having poor interior quality, and I can tell you nothing has changed so far. The all road in front of us, you could tell the dynamic turning signals. They look pretty nice. They also work for enhanced safety and just the design of the car from the
Let's
back.
talk about the seats.
Yeah, let's
You
talk
like them
about
so
the
far, or
I mean, I can't tell you that I like it or I dislike it. I guess they will do it. I mean, the headrests, that's a big thing for me. You cannot adjust them forward or backwards. You can go only up and down. So that's a minus. The way that I feel the seat, it's all right. I mean, I can't tell you that it's bad or good. Now, I noticed when I was trying to adjust the seat, it wasn't adjusting the same way that I'm used to in my Audi. But it does have one, two. So I would say at least 4 different ways to adjust the bottom and the back. You could adjust front and back. Does it have a lumbar? I think if it has the lumbar. Oh, it does have the lumbar. Yeah, it does have the lumbar. So seat is all right, with an exception for the headrest. Those blind spots, the indicators. It's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke. I want to check out the trunk real quick on the car because Q5 gives a very large and wide trunk space, so that's something that I want to check
From
out.
the steering wheel, it feels very cheap.
Yeah.
And then you have
Do
the
you hear
engine
that?
noise.
Yeah.
You have a lot of engine noise into the cabin. You really don't feel that connected with the road, even though this is the X-Drive. You feel the steering is very loose. It's,
Yeah, I expected it to be a lot more stiff. Usually BMW steering is very stiff, but this one, I was surprised that it's so loose. I guess that's what you're saying is a disconnection.
Yeah.
One thing is not connected to another, the steering wheel and the handle.
Now the seating feel isn't that bad, but it isn't that great.
Yeah.
You don't feel that comfortable in the car. It's not something you really want to be in for that long of a drive.
So we had an assignment to find one good feature, one good thing about each vehicle, including the competitor. So we have to look for one because I can't really say anything so far that thrilled me. I have to look for something in this car that is a selling point because I can't tell you so far what exactly I'd be selling.
are the seats comfy, or?
I mean, they're not comfortable and they're not bad at the same time.
Yeah, they're all right. It's one of those where you can say, okay, we'll do it. But there's so many other things that won't.
And even the brake feel too, you feel like you really have to get onto the brakes all the way till the end.
Okay, so now let's forget that we work for Audi. What's at least one good thing about this car?
We haven't found it yet. We're still looking.
So look,
I mean, this armrest does not have the same ergonomic construction, ergonomic design as Audi had. It's not bad, you know. It gives you the auxiliary and the
USB port.
Yeah, just one. We got two.
The space is good?
Space is
Or
good.
normal?
It's normal, yes, it's normal space. But I guess for to serve the purpose, it will serve the purpose. Let me see what else I got in this car. You see, there is another thing that Audi has. If I were to quickly check right now what's going on in the back, I could do it by pressing the P button for parking if I wanted to see behind. But I don't see anything. Oh, it's right here, right? Yeah, here's the cameras. Okay, so I get the top view.
But then again, talking the whole user-friendly, you really have to look for those features. It's kind of difficult, especially when you're driving. You really have to see exactly what's going on.
I'm gonna look on the iPad and see if I can actually find something good about this car, because I have hard time finding it by myself. So I need.
Yeah, right. I mean, even still going back to the seats, messing with the adjustments. Really can't find the comfortable seating position.
Yeah, I couldn't find it either.
And then the steering wheel bugs me. Everything feels very old and outdated.
Yeah.
And you don't even have paddle shifters like you do in the
yellow lights.
Yeah, they're not even LED lights.
Yeah, they need to redesign this thing for sure. It's time. It's time for it.
Now the space in the back is not bad.
It's not bad, right?
Kind of like the Q5.
So it does give you a good leg room,
Yes.
right?
The only downside is that you cannot put the seat forward or backwards.
Yeah.
So it's fixed. You cannot move it around.
Yeah.
You have AC vents behind here, just like the Q5.
We're taking a ride.
Did you see them taking the ride?
So,
What Q5 has? You see, it shows you the passing by vehicle.
Just trying to get it.
Yeah. So the camera, the backup camera, it's.
And how many views? Just
It's
one?
a winner. This is a front view.
yes, you have the front view.
Okay. I had P button. Okay. Top view. This interface, you wish and guess how you're gonna use it. I mean,
Come up here, you're going to slot in front of
Alright, so we figured out the park brake. Took a little while.
did they make it right?
Yeah.
I believe they made it right.
Yeah, the mirror right.
I'm used to having the seat controls on the seat. Mercedes has it on the door. I think it's one of the few cars that do that. Let's see if we can catch up. I mean, acceleration is good. I can see. I do feel more comfortable in this car than I feel in BMW. Yes, so definitely the feel. The car feels solid for now. Let's see. I like the seats a lot.
Okay, you're looking to make a right on the Old Peachtree Road.
Alright, let's see if we can catch up. I mean, speed is not there.
What I can hear from back there, a lot of wing noise.
Yeah?
Yes.
There's a lot of outside
A lot of outside noise.
Take you down into the Shell station, but you don't want to do that. Just go right just a touch after the Shell station.
So again, I mean, this car also uses a 4-cylinder turbo,
Mm-hmm.
241 horse, 273 torque. So torque is comparable, but we are a little bit off on the power. This uses what's called the 9G Tronic automatic transmission. But it does not have a push start, so it is the same traditional, key in, turn to turn it on. I mean, the controls are stereo mounted, so you feel like you're pretty much, in an old Ford Interceptor, a taxi. I mean, this system over here is a little complicated to get used to.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks complicated to me.
Everything's very enlarged, as you can tell. This is a little bit more for, the older person who needs bigger controls.
Yeah, you're right.
Talk to me about the screen in the middle.
Red light here, London.
So, I mean, it does
Gonna
have,
make a right onto London.
the center-mounted screen. Almost like what, the Audi does provide.
But it looks a
You can just tell
little...
from the colors, they are very dull colors. They're not that vibrant.
It's like
It
dark
is a little,
colors.
hard to read the navigation.
No, it looks like an iPad in the middle of the, on top of the bench. Is kind of weird looking.
And just the way everything
screen.
is inside, I mean, you can look, from the side to the center, everything looks, kind of up to date. And when you look up here, everything looks like old traditional plastic.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit of everything. You have a little bit of old, a little bit of new. So it's a little bit confusing inside the car.
Like, what is it, right? Is this progressive or classic?
Yeah, you feel like things are just placed, poorly. They just threw everything in the car. They didn't know exactly where to put it. You have, the door locks on the side right here next to the handle, but then you have the seat controls up here.
All right, on the left you'll see London
If
Road
you
Park.
take a look at the dash, at the cluster compartment in here, so it is better than BMW, but it's nowhere near our virtual cockpit. Or for the matter, just the regular cluster that we have.
Once you get in the park,
So it does
just
give you
go across that little
some sort
bridge
of information
and just keep going
display
back
in the
towards
middle,
back. There is a
digital,
restroom here, so if you do need to take a
yet you
restroom
still
break,
have
people right up next to
the
one.
traditional clusters. Okay, the speedometer, tachometer, everything is large and not digital. So you know how fast you're going, but you don't know exactly how fast you're going. And we'd like to have that when we're talking about big bucks spending on the car. Where is the blind spot assist?
In the
I
mirrors.
believe, again, the small little triangle on the mirror.
Oh, that one.
So again,
Okay.
going back to the BMW X3 and now in the Mercedes, it does have blind spot, but it's very small.
Mm-hmm.
So it really isn't that helpful for the driver.
They have a upgraded sound system in here.
So this does use the Burmester sound system.
Turn radio is put it in.
Okay, I do believe we'll do our change over here.
That was quick drive.
And that is a restroom there. They were pretty nice yesterday when I popped in
The
there.
car's in park or not?
No,
So
it's
you
weird
didn't
that they have it like on the steering wheels, like if you're driving like a work truck.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a work
I
truck,
mean-
exactly.
Everything feels nice. But then again, I mean, to get everything you have right here as far as the steering wheel, and all the instruments, the paddle shifters, you do have to opt for the AMG package, which is more of just an aesthetic look and just, the sportier seats, sportier steering wheel. Whereas in, in the Q5, the sport design, it's pretty much standard. You get the, paddle shifters, you get all of that.
Alright, Margarita's iPhone after searching. Okay.
So now we're waiting to connect the Bluetooth.
Okay, so the connecting part happens fast. The search part took a while. Okay, so we're connected. Now, options. If I want to do my... Okay, this is the contacts. How do I go back? Use the back button. Yeah, it tells me for audio, no devices are connected. So I have to do something else.
Maybe we have to go back into the settings.
Alright, about a half an hour, so we're going to make a left on the Sugarloaf Parkway.
Right now the car is in Sport Plus mode, but even compared to the regular drive, you don't feel that much of a difference. The steering wheel just feels a little bit heavier, but as far as the throttle response, it's pretty much the same.
Okay. Yeah, this one, it's better than X3. but it's definitely not a Q5.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as the price point compared to the X3, this is a better choice. You get more for the same price. The technology is a little bit more updated, but again, everything's scattered, and everything you can tell is just enlarged for those people that are a little bit higher in age. You can just tell it's meant more for an older person.
Yeah.
CarPlay in this car?
As far as CarPlay, we don't know. It doesn't really
Let me check
tell us
with the
into the
manual.
system.
Okay, when you make the left at Sherlock, go ahead and try to get in the right lane when you can.
Oh my god, that's like a Delta airplane taking off.
Yeah,
Same
there's a
sound.
lot of wind noise.
Yeah, there is initial lag when you're taking off. And again, I mean, you start to get, a lot of exterior wind noise, and as well as some cabin noise from the engine as well.
Alright, once you
It's
make the left
interesting
on the
because it says
Sugarloaf,
keyless
you're not going
start.
to go very far at all. You're going to make a right
Standard
into-
feature. I
you'll
mean,
see a brown
did we
sign,
miss
you'll see a little
the
church,
keyless
you'll
start?
see
Well, unless they're hiding it somewhere, I really don't see exactly where that
You'll see
is.
a Providence Church. It'll be on the right.
I'm not sure exactly where that is. It's usually somewhere around here.
Yeah, I mean, it
But
has to be
I don't
a
see
button.
or feel for anything.
Well, if you have a keyless start, so you shouldn't have to need a key.
But as far as user friendly, it's still not there with the Audi.
Do me a favor, shift in the reverse real quick. Okay, it's got good camera. So definitely wide. It does show you the proximity. Very clear. Check surrounding, entire surrounding. Gives you the sensors, so you could switch real quick here. Yeah, so advanced camera systems. That
The
is
rear view
good.
camera system isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But just feeling everything else, I mean, just starting with the steering wheel, it does feel too soft and cheap. And everything just outdated.
Yeah.
Alright, looks like the
I feel bad for Lexus salesmen because you have to be doing a lot of selling, to sell this car. It doesn't sell itself.
But they sell
Unlike
because they're
Audi.
cheap.
Even
Right?
that, they're not that cheap, If they were too cheap, then yeah, but they're not that cheap. I mean, this car we're looking at approximately $43,000, right? So I'd compare this one size-wise more to a Q3, right? So, and this is a fully loaded car. So the base price
43 for this.
yeah, I mean, for a fully loaded Q3, you'll get definitely a better
No.
car. I mean, you're gonna get an all-wheel drive Premium Plus with
You're gonna get
additions.
the Prestige package.
You can even do Prestige, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, then going back, it's like you're getting all the things you want, but at a bargain. So that's what this car is for.
Yeah,
It's for that bargain shopper that wants to say that they have this feature, they have that feature,
correct.
but at a different price point.
Correct.
Now, for me, it's like if you're driving, let's say, a Mazda or Honda, and you're trying to look into the luxury, vehicles,
Yeah.
this will be like just paying a little bit more for leather seats. That's it.
Yeah.
It's basically the same
Yeah.
thing inside.
Yes, you're right. So the good thing about it is the seat comfort. So we found that. Nothing really else that we can point out. I haven't tried connecting the Bluetooth. I don't really feel like doing it in this car.
And this car does not offer Apple CarPlay, no matter what package you do have, because there are a lot of other things that you can add to this vehicle to compare it to the Q5 or even the BMW, how it has the AMG Sports package. So if you're at that, to have the F Sport on this, then you would get the paddle shifters. The interior would look a little bit more sportier, but just based on this, it is more for the person that wants something a little bit more economical, but still have that so-called luxury standpoint.
Yeah.
But as far as driving the car now, it does feel more like, you know, a simulated video game. The steering, I mean...
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, I mean, the steering it's very off. There's a lot of body roll in the car as well.
Yeah.
And then just from, you know, there's the gas pedal and, you know, the brake pedal, it feels everything is, you know, it's laggy. You feel that there is some hesitation to get, you know, on the power or on the brake.
You could tell by driving all these vehicles how much, how advanced we are in the market with what we have to offer. Because anything that we got in so far, other than Mercedes-Benz, was upsetting. Mercedes-Benz wasn't upsetting, but like you said, it looks like it's designed for a different type of clientele. I mean, it didn't feel like, if I were to shop for the car, I wouldn't feel like I wasted my time going to a Mercedes-Benz dealership, at least to look at the car. But I would definitely feel like I wasted my time going to Lexus and BMW.
Yeah, Mercedes was nice. It had a nice interior. It was designed, for like older people. But the user interface for the technology, I mean, I cannot figure it out.
Yeah.
It's too difficult.
Yeah, I mean, that user interface is based more for an older generation that wants something that looks a little bit more advanced.
Correct.
So, I mean, it looks up to date, but then again, it still isn't up to date.
Yeah.
You know, the Q5 offers that range from a younger standpoint even to an older class, where everything is up to date, but it's very user friendly.
Yes, definitely. Q5 and old road, I mean, same technology.
To the Quattro system in the Audi.
How's that?
Just in the fact that it doesn't use the same, you know, center locking diff. This is more, it uses more of a transfer case. So it's more front wheel drive biased. And then it sends power through another differential to the back wheels.
Okay.
So it's not a true all-wheel drive system. It's more for if you do need that versatility, it's offered.
Okay.
But it's not the same as where in the Audi system, it's more, you know, it goes from the front to the back evenly.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So that's why you sometimes get like that play in the steering wheel when you're turning, you know, quickly. You get more like that pull where it doesn't feel like the car actually rotates better as it did in the Q5.
Yes. Yes, definitely. This is an old camera. You see how it looks like a bubble? So comparing to all the previous cameras that we saw, this is disadvantaged.
And for sure, this car is for someone who wants to have those features, just again, at a different price point.
Yeah, you have to have it. Okay, I got it, right?